Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues! Let's
And aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report post-game show. But I see a silver lining in this cloud of a loss. Welcome. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm joined by my cohort, Jeremy Miller. Jeremy, the Fox Miller. Got to put that in there, Mara, Jeremy, so I don't forget it, man.
I will remember that.
Fox, and you know what? We got an announcement to make tonight, don't we, Jeremy?
Yeah.
We'll hold up on that. But we got an announcement. Don't let me.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only going 30 minutes tonight.
Right.
Welcome, everybody. This is the BlueNote Fan Report. I'm Guy. This is Jeremy. And we're here to talk about the Blues' 6-game road trip that had 12 possible points, and they got 10. That's a successful damn road trip.
Absolutely.
Right? That's a successful road trip. I mean, even if you win this game, you're 11 of 12 points. You know, I'm okay with an overtime loss. I really am. 8 of 12, right? If they are 9 of 12, if they lose this game, the trip was already successful. Now it's all about, and maybe they were looking ahead a little bit, you know, and they had chances to win it. They had really good chances to win it in regulation. Perron just missed. Schenn just missed. Schenn couldn't handle on an open net. He's as good as he does score. Had a couple of those. Nice choke job again. I know, and that's Dante's Inferno. If you ever hear me talking about Dante's Inferno, that's Mike Dante, and that's my buddy. And when we lose, he erupts, and I love it. Chris Shockley, they need to go back to if it goes off the foot, it's no goal. That's 2 iffy kicks. You know, I did think that he turned enough, and they had that other game in the last game where he turned. I understand the kicking motion, but you got to look at it's not just the kicking motion. He looked at the ref as soon as it went in. He knew he kicked it. And that's why I think they need to look at more than just the motion, what the player's reaction is after the goal goes in. Right? That was like a couple of years ago, Tarasenko kick went in, and after it went in, he didn't celebrate. And that's exactly why. Because I think it didn't look like he kicked it in, but one of the things that the refs had said later was, he didn't celebrate. We knew he kicked it in. That's why they went no goal right off the bat. He didn't celebrate it. So that's something to think about. Nichols, very talented team, trying to do too much. Glad to see you out of the dark hole. That's for you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Let's see.
I was driving, and now I'm back home.
Let's see. That O'Reilly chance looked like a lot like Tarasenko's last game. Yeah, it kind of did. Brock, disturbing trend, getting up in games and letting it slip away. Like the points, but too many 1-goal games this season. Yeah, there's been a lot. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with losing. Fashion. It's the fashion they're losing. They're squandering leads to bad teams. That what pisses me off. Oh, I got it. And you know what? We need to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the drop, Mr. Lance Duscott. Oh, wow, that sounded good.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man? Did you like that little intro? That sounded good.
You rhymed and you didn't even know it.
Oh, man, it sounded good. Chris Sockley here. I can put a foot to it without kicking at it. Yeah, and you know, I think they need to look a little more. Hey, Jeremy, let's hear your opinion. How was the game? No bias. That's a good one. Let's start with that, and then we'll go from there for this post game show. Go ahead, Jeremy. On you, buddy. Got me?
I think he's froze a little bit.
All right. Obviously, I thought that Vladdy. You got me?
Yeah, you're good. You're
We
good.
got you now.
Hello?
Yeah, we got you.
Yep, you're
All
good.
good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I think Vladdy did really good in this game. Ville Husso, I mean, there was nothing he really could do about the Marc-Edouard Vlasic goal. That was just put right in the top corner where he couldn't touch it. I mean, yeah, I know he's a good goaltender, but Husso had no shot on that one. Not gonna lie, I didn't really get to see the overtime goal, but I can only imagine that it was probably dirty because Evander Kane's a dirty, dirty player. He's always in front of the net doing something to a goaltender, whether it be legal or illegal.
Oh, this time it was.
But I thought the
a
Blues
beautiful.
did really well tonight. It is sad that they lost to the Sharks, but this is just a positive spin. It's just a positive spin to a next 3 days they can set up and get ready for Vegas, who lost to Minnesota tonight. And not only did Minnesota beat Vegas, but the Avalanche lost tonight as well to the Coyotes.
Good. So we picked up a point on both of them because they both lost in regulation, right?
In the standings. Did y'all get me?
Yeah, we got you, man. Did Dubs really slash our sticks to win? I don't know about that.
Yep.
I didn't see that. I kind of caught it. I'll have to watch again. Darkness.
Okay.
No, he
got
didn't.
at least 1 point on
He
6
didn't
road
slash
game trips. I'll take that 100% of the time. 5+ game road. Yeah, I agree.
And I want to talk about one thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Lance.
This game isn't Husso's fault. The first goal he let in was high glove side. And as I've said before, that's one of the hardest shots to make a save on because it's natural for your arm to go up and down, but it's not really natural. When it's a high, short, side there, it's a goal that they can save, but that's a hard one. And then that goal by Logan Couture, that's not on him. I mean, it went off his skate. And that Evander Kane goal, you got to remember one thing. Goalies are made to stop the puck, and guys like Kane are meant to score. And sometimes guys like Kane are going to score. Yeah, it went off Husso's glove, but when you let a goal in by a guy that can score goals, you hate to do it. But I don't like the trend of them giving up the lead, but let's be happy that they got out of it, that they gained a point, because I'd already seen when it turned 2-2, people were ripping on Husso, and this game isn't Husso's fault.
Oh, no, not in the least, but I thought Husso played really well tonight.
Yeah.
And it's just like I've said with Bennington. Bennington's had a much better season than the stat sheet shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't, and it's like the Sanford issue. You don't always have to be on the stat sheet to have a good game.
Well,
right?
it's like people like to use analytics. And earlier in the year, people are saying, well, Bennington has only stopped 6 out of 28 quality shots. Here's what I hate about analytics. They take a quality shot based on where the shot's taken from the ice, okay? But it's never put in on who's taken the shot. That's what's stupid about analytics. Would you rather have Crosby taking a quality shot against you or Scandella taking a quality shot against you? I'd rather have Scandella, although I like him. Those are analytics. A lot of it doesn't take the player into account of who's shooting the puck. That's why I hate hockey analytics for goaltenders. I hate them.
Yeah. No, it's something to think about. It is an issue. I don't mind stats and I don't mind analytics, but I'm an eyeball guy, an eye test guy, right?
Yeah. Stats aren't the whole story.
Eye test shows so much. And the eye test tonight showed the 2 saves he made in the second period. Really great pad save. The rebound is right there. He makes another pad save off it. Mm-hmm. But this second pad save, he kicks it so it goes far enough out that it's out of the way. Mm-hmm. That is not going to show up on a stat sheet other than 2 saves.
Yep.
That's it. Mm-hmm. But what's not going to show up was game-changing saves they were in a 1-1 game, right? And that's why I don't go on numbers all the time. I look at, Clifford. Clifford didn't put himself on a score sheet, but he had a good game.
Yeah, he did.
Couple good shots, good fight, was in on the forecheck a lot, was around the puck. I don't think he got a ton of ice time, but what he did get, he used it. Stanford, heard his name a few times tonight. Every time I heard his name, he was doing something good. McCachran, didn't hear his name a lot tonight, but when I did hear it, he was doing something good. Mikkola scored a goal. He also created the first goal. Okay, that stuff happens. You don't see your partner change on you. Happens all the time. And if you remember, that's exactly what happened to the Rat in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That won the finals, won the cup. He went off on a change at the wrong damn time. So that stuff happens. It's not that. Carl says goals for Blues 80-77. When they start playing heavy outside soft west, they will start losing outright, and it's going to get ugly, folks. Ooh, PK is 20th, power play is 25th. Okay, Carl, you make some good points, but you also, I think that the West is a tougher division than people are giving it credit for. I really do. I know that the North has the best opportunity right now because they don't have to do all these makeup games. The East has an advantage with travel, but they've got East and Central have so many makeup games. Dallas is going to play almost a game every other night, or more than a game every other night. So it's going to get heavy. Ooh.
Well, I think he's also referring to the Golden Knights into Colorado when he talks about the soft. They haven't played the Golden Knights in Colorado a bunch. Well, here's the thing: when the Blues play their game, they can beat both those teams. It's not like you look at Anaheim. Maybe people in the East, people in the North, people in the South, and people in the West say, well, there's just no way that the Blues can beat the Golden Knights or the Avalanche. The Avalanche are the sexy pick, as everybody says, for the Stanley Cup the last 3 years. But it's played on the ice, and the Blues normally against both of those teams play very well. Have they played bad against them at times? Yes. There was a thing a couple of years ago where they could have made it to the playoffs if they'd have beat Colorado in that last game. And in all honesty, the Blues outplayed Colorado. And then there was that goal that was offside, onside. What was it? And the Blues don't make the playoffs. But the Blues played a great game against them. The Blues played better than Colorado did. And, they tried to put that game off. I believe Allen was in goal. They tried to put it off on Allen and say it was his fault. I can't remember. Maybe Bennington was in goal. I don't remember. But, hey, all these teams are good. Look at the Ducks. They don't look good on paper, but who have they played recently? They've recently played the Blues. They've played the Knights. They played the Coyotes, and we know how good the Coyotes can be when they're on. Yep. And they've played these teams all tough, 3-2, 4-3 overtime losses, shootout losses. Now, do they get beat 5-1 some games? Yeah, teams like that do, but they're all good teams. The Ducks can beat you any night. Any team in the NHL can beat the other team any single night if they play their game. All this stuff about soft West and this is soft. It just comes down to you got to play each other and you got to play well. And you can say that about some teams. Some teams you can say, well, even if they play their game, they're going to lose most games. If the Blues play their game for most of the game, they're going to win most games.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really am. So Carl, I'm not
talking about the Ducks.
I kind of think Carl might be one of them anti-Blues fans, but he says I understand injuries.
Sorry.
Sorry, right. I didn't hear you, bud.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're talking about the Ducks.
Jeremy, are you hearing us okay?
I was just going to say that you got to remember the Ducks, yes, they are the worst team in the West right now, but they have a win against the Avs. Yeah, I'm hearing you guys. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah. You're freezing a little bit on us.
Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Let me check my internet. Should be good.
Yeah, it's freezing a little bit on
Your
it.
voice
guys there?
isn't freezing as your voice isn't freezing as much
Okay.
as your face.
You're hearing me?
Yeah, bud. You're good. You're good. You're good. We're hearing you.
That's weird. Like you guys are
You're
freezing, but a little bit. But okay. All right. What I was saying is the Ducks have beaten the Avalanche. The Ducks have beaten the Wild. The Ducks have beaten the Knights. So to say that it's a soft West, that's the West is the wild, wild West. It really is. Because any team in the West can beat any team. Look at LA. LA came, went to overtime, beat the Blues. LA's beaten the Wild. LA's beaten the Avalanche. I mean, there is no true number one team in the West right now.
I agree.
But to say that a soft West, that just sounds like a hater.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yep,
I'm calling it out. It sounds like a hater.
Yep. Somebody earlier said that. Go ahead.
I'm a Penguins fan. I'm not a Blues fan. So for me to say something.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I get exactly where you're going. You cut out there at the end, but he says, and this comment from him is dead on. The upcoming weeks will be the Avs and the Knights heavy. This will be their sink or swim month coming April, and I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
I fully agree with that too. But the comment earlier, the Blues are soft since Maroon's not here, or hey, I'm going to tell you something. Maroon's a physical guy. Maroon is not what I would call a tough guy or enforcer. He's a physical guy that will fight when he needs to and stick up for his team. How many teams have a Ryan Reeves in this day and era?
Yeah.
Hardly anybody has. I mean, people say, well, Clifford's Ryan Reeves. No, Kyle Clifford is a shadow of what Ryan Reeves is when it comes to being the enforcer for the team. He's a good guy. He can get physical. He'll stick up for his teammates. Most teams have that, but most teams, you can't say most teams are just fully physical. You cannot win with doing nothing but playing physical. You have to have offensive opportunities, and you have to have guys that can score. Because if you notice, when the Blues play a heavy style and their scorers like Schenn, Kyrou, and then now Tarasenko and guys like that, when those guys don't score and the team is only playing heavy, this team loses 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. You've got to have scoring. Heaviness and hitting is great. It's got a good part in the game, and it can win you games or take a game in a different direction. But you must score to win.
No, and that's it. You can't win a game if you don't put a puck on net, and that's all there is to it. So you're absolutely right there.
And you also got to get help.
I'm not
well too.
Now, I'm not looking at this in a negative way.
No, I'm not either.
I think that this is you're looking at 10 out of 12 points on a road trip. I'm taking that all day long. You picked up a point tonight on the Knights, on the Avalanche. Big point. You're playing. You have 4 more. You have an 8-point weekend coming up. This isn't a 4-point. These are 2 4-point games.
Yep.
That's an 8-point weekend. You win those 2 games. And you pick up 4 points on them without giving up games. They still got to win those games in hand. You're forcing them to have to win those games. That's what's important. And I really like what they're doing. And Tanner has a good question. Do we even have enforcers anymore? And not like we used to, right? Not like we used to. Craig Berube was an enforcer. Craig Berube spent 17 years in the NHL by being
the
that
only
guy.
enforcer that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to say the only real enforcer that I could think of is Ryan Reeves right now, and maybe, oh God, what's his name? I would say Tom Wilson, but he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about Tom in a minute.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
only
we
think of
are.
Reeves.
We're gonna talk about that. We only got about 10 minutes left. We only got about 10 minutes left, so I want to cover a couple of comments.
Okay. Yay.
And then we'll get into some things. We look super talented, but trying to make beautiful plays. We are fine. We need to grind more. I'm okay with that comment. Yes, the league still has enforcers, just not like when we had guys like Twister, very good. Not like we used to.
Yeah, I agree with him to a point. I agree with him to a point. But enforcers guys were afraid to hit other guys.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure when you played the Golden Knights, there are guys afraid to go after Stone, to go after Marchand, to go after some of those other guys because of Reeves. There's very few guys. You may call them enforcers, but they're not enforcers like they used to be. They're just guys that fight today.
Yeah.
That when you need a fight, they'll fight. Like I wouldn't call Clifford an enforcer. He's a guy that plays heavy, that will fight when he needs to for his team. That's not the definition of an enforcer. There are no more true enforcers in the game besides Ryan Reeves. There's fighters and there's guys that play heavy. But in my mind, if you ask most coaches are going to say in the NHL, there's very few enforcers in this league.
Yeah, I agree. Got to throw a quick shout out to my buddy Windy City Hockey. Hey, Windy, how you doing? Chicago Blackhawks fan, but we'll still check out the BlueNote Fan Report. I greatly appreciate that.
Awesome.
Blaze isn't knocking. Yeah, he needs seasoning. I agree with that. So let's get into real quick. I want to say I got a shout out to make. Went to my mailbox today, and I got these two beautiful pins.
Cool.
I don't know if you can see those.
Yeah, we can see them.
This amazing
awesome
white towel.
Yeah.
And a Blues calendar from my buddy Bob and Michelle Kozik. They asked me if I needed it. They sent it to me. I'm really, really happy for that. Wendy, real quick, says that tomorrow's Patrick King's 1,000th game, and that's important.
Yeah, I don't like Patrick Kane, but if somebody says, is he talented? Yeah, the man's talented. Yeah. I don't like him as a person. I hate him when he plays against the Blues. But if you don't like another team, but there's somebody on there that's truly talented, and you say they're not because you just hate them. No, Patrick Kane is talented. I just don't like him.
I agree. And Kevin Nash says, watch a movie called Ice Guardians. I think it's still on Netflix.
Is by far, in my opinion, the best United States-born hockey player.
Close. I think this player is considered an American, but not U.S. born. But I will take Hull over Kane. And I know Hull was born in Canada, but he's a U.S. player. So I'll take Hull over Kane in my eyes.
Well, when you talk about U.S. born players, up until recently, my favorite, and he was always considered one of the top 2 or 3 that's ever played, that would have to be Joey Mullen, number 7, that played for the Blues and the Flames and Pittsburgh and a bunch of other people. And I love Joey Mullen. He's one of my top, but I do agree that Patrick Kane is one of the top, American players to ever play the game. Like I said, I hate to say that. My heart and my stomach are hurting right now, but you got to give the guy credit. 1,000 games, that's a big milestone in the NHL. That's a lot of games. And is he the player he was 5-6 years ago? No, he's not the player he was 5-6 years ago, but he's a good player. And he's going to be one of the top scorers this year. And he's, in my mind, the main reason why the Blackhawks have had this burst and how they're kind of back into the scheme of things. And, they were bad the first part of the season, but Patrick Kane is kind of led by example, that young team. And that's why they're doing better. Is it good for hockey? Yes, it's good for hockey to have the Blackhawks relevant. Is it bad for the Blues? Yes. I don't like to see it as a Blues fan.
Yeah, I agree. And I got to, hey, Jeremy, if you go to the St. Louis Blues Fan Report and look at game day picks, everybody's picks for this game are there. You can go there. So real quick, Tom Wilson got a 7-game suspension, and it's the largest suspension they've given out. However, I don't think it was the right suspension. I think it was too light. I actually feel that at this point in his career, it needed to be a season long suspension, and he needed to have training. He needs to have training after that because it's not going to end. It's over and over and over again. Lance?
Yeah, and you know how I feel. I defend him sometimes. And people get mad at me for partially defending him on that Sundqvist hit that knocked Sundqvist out for a long time. I make that a 65-35 or 70-30 his fault. But you got to put some of it off on Sundqvist. Like I said the other night, you're taught when you first start playing as a player, don't put your head down. I don't care if you're leaving the zone with the puck. I don't care if you're entering the zone. I don't care if you don't have the puck. Do not put your head down because your clock is going to be cleaned. And when you first watch Wilson with that Sundqvist hit, he was heading to hit him before Sundqvist put his head down. So I don't put that one off as much as Wilson. I don't think it was a clean hit, but there's really not much Wilson could have done at that point when he put his head down. Now, the thing the other night, I was saying a 10-game suspension at the least, the very least, and then a $25,000 to $50,000 fine. These guys are not going to take it seriously just with suspensions. I don't care if they're 5, 6, 7 games and a $5K fine. These guys are making millions of dollars. Fine them $25,000, $50K. That's going to get their attention.
That is one thing about the CBA when it comes to fines is wrong. Yep. That is one thing where the league really needs to start fighting back.
Mm-hmm. They should.
The league picks the wrong fights. This is a fight that the league should pick. And if they pick this fight, the league's going to win. The players will give in on that. I'm absolutely certain of it. Because right now, there's too many guys getting hurt that are getting hurt for longer periods of time. Sorry, Jeremy, I walked right over you, bud.
It's just people are just taking liberties. And they know they can take liberties because not every team has a Ryan Reeves. But Jeremy, go ahead.
On you, bud. On you, Jeremy.
On you, Jeremy.
Oh, sorry. My internet. I think my internet's messing up.
No problem, man.
So, in my opinion, I'm not going to pull any punches. I hate the Capitals. And Tom Wilson's one of the reasons I hate the Capitals. Tom Wilson is the biggest scumbag in the NHL. And for what he did to Brandon Carlo, he should have been gone. This is not the first time that he's done something like this. I agree, Lance, with the Oscar Sundqvist hit. Yeah, you put your head down, you're going to get your, you-know-what laid out.
Get your clock clean.
But there has been so many shots. The knee to Connor Sheary.
Mm-hmm.
When he kneed him right in the took him right out by the knee in the playoffs.
Yep.
He has done every kind of dirty freaking hit you can think of, and it fires me up. And I swear to God, the NHL need to just take him out. He is a dirty player. Now, yes, there's been dirty players in the NHL before, and people give that crap. Oh, well, everybody's a dirty player every now and then. No. This Tom Wilson is a scumbag. Tom Wilson has done anything he can to get over. And the only reason he got to 7 games is because there's not enough games this year. If they played a full 82-game schedule, I guarantee you he would have got a hell of a lot more. But since you're on a 56-game schedule.
Yeah. Well, somebody's saying he's going to appeal it.
I hope he does, and I hope he loses.
I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to end up getting 4 to 5 games.
He did on the Sundqvist. He got 20. That got dropped down to 7.
Yeah, I think it's going to get dropped down to 4 or 5, which I agree with you. If there was more games, I think he would have got more. I think that did have, but in my mind, like you, Jeremy, I don't think it had anything to do with it. And what's sad about it is the guy's talented. He scores goals. I mean, why not take that focus and that energy towards scoring goals and lay a guy out, give him a good hit when you need to, but don't be messing with people's careers. I don't like guys that take liberties with people that could end their career. And the NHL and the NHLPA shouldn't like players like that.
Oh, no, I agree. Wendy says Tom Wilson reminds me a lot of the dirtiest player, Ralphie Torres. Another, and we're just about out of time, so I want to mention. I'll mention this real quick. One other player that's in the Tom Wilson realm is Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
Very, very talented player. Doesn't need the antics, yet he goes out and does them anyways. He needs a huge suspension for one of his knees. I mean, Tarasenko almost clocked him. I mean, in the finals, if he'd have hit Tarasenko in the knee one more time, Tarasenko would have turned around and clocked him.
Yeah,
I mean, straight up cold cocked him.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was coming. I know that for a fact. I had a player on that team tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say who because it was offline, but he told me that straight up. So, hey, guys, this has been so much fun. Today's been a great day, man. All the shows have been really great. And I got to tell everybody out there that's watching, please go to the St. Louis Fan Report. Look at those articles and start making comments. Don't just do it for the points. Do it for the articles. When your comments, and this is what people don't understand, this is something that you have a chance to do. These authors read those comments. They want to know what you think. Jeremy, you have an article coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
About Hockey Day in America, and I know you're working on one about referees and the Tom Wilson. With the people listening, would you like to have comments on your articles?
I would love comments on my articles. That's what gives us our feedback. That's what gives us our, if we're doing good, let us know. If you don't like our writing style, let us know. We got it. If we don't know, we can't change anything. And if we don't change anything, then that just upsets you guys.
Yeah. Well, I want to say,
sorry. Go ahead.
I want to say, I used to write for a sports blog, and I wrote the article about Bennington February 4th, before everybody else started talking about him.
Yeah, we did.
I want people to know this isn't something that takes 10 minutes to do. It isn't something that takes 15 minutes to do. Even if we write something and it's done in a half an hour, we go back through it for hours, fixing this, fixing that. Well, that sounds better. Well, this sounds better. We ask our wives, we ask the people around us, how does this sound? What does this sound like? So these writers, folks, I know you're fans of Guy's blog and his vlog and everything, but please read these articles. These writers work hard to do it. They're not compensated. They do it because they love the Blues and they love to bring this information to you guys. And like Jeremy said, you can ask any question, say, hey, Jeremy, I disagree with you about this. I think it's this way. Jeremy likes that kind of stuff. Chris will like that kind of stuff. Guy will like that kind of stuff. I like that stuff when I write. Tell me that you disagree with me. We're not all going to disagree. That's what we put these articles out for discussion.
Absolutely.
I got a comment from a 7-year-old saying there were a lot of mistakes in the Tarasenko article. I sent him back. Tell me what they were so we can fix them. Right? Nice. He said there's mistakes that we should have reviewed it better. You know what? That's great. I love it.
Right.
Let's and that's good. That's good, solid feedback. We'll take it. I got all this great feedback on the article about the Warriors hockey, and it made me feel really good. Tom Ackerman, I sent it to him. He forwarded it out and told people to read it. That made me feel really good. I got to tout this. I have 2 confirmed interviews. I don't have dates yet, but I have confirmed from one blonde-haired player, not going to say who, a retired blonde-haired player from the Blues.
Jorgen Pettersson?
No, I'm not going to say who. You know my rule. And I also have a very high media person that's going to do something with me, not right away, but as things settle down, he's going to do something with me.
Doc Emmerich from NBC Sports?
Oh, that would
this media person has a very popular podcast, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. Very popular sports podcast. So, hey, guys, I love you to death. And me and Jeremy have one last announcement.
Yes.
Jeremy, this is on you. I want you to announce this.
Well, wait. Are we announcing what's going on tomorrow? I'm trying to figure out what we're announcing. Are we announcing
your podcast?
Oh, yes. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, guys.
I know we got so much going on.
Right?
Yeah.
It is official that my brand, my Sly Fox Sports podcast that I do on YouTube, will be under the umbrella of the St. Louis Fan Report.
Great.
And we will be working together. I will have Guy on the podcast. I'm going to have Brock on the podcast. Lance, if you want to come on, we could talk some things. That would be awesome. But
can I say something? I knew that was going to happen. I've been thinking about that for about a week or two now. I bet Jeremy's going to do that, and I wouldn't be shocked. So when you announce that, I'm like, I knew that was going to happen.
I appreciate.
That's great.
So, yeah, we've had some discussions.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Jeremy's podcast is going to be 10 to 15 minute smaller segments, but it's going to be discussions or roundtable discussions about things like this Tom Wilson, about not just hockey, baseball, football, things in sport. This is going to be topic based, right? He's going to bring people on. He's going to have his own page on the Fan Report. We're going to have the last 5 videos he did will be on there, and we'll promote it from there. We'll look for a sponsor for the Sly Fox Sports. I think it's good to have Jeremy under the Fan Report. I think you bring something new to the Fan Report Media Group that I didn't have before. And I got to tell Lance just real quick. Lance told me when I first started this, when I did my show, and I was absolutely horrible. He says, Guy, you're good. Don't give up and find ways to grow. I will never forget those words, right? And this was before he ever met me, before we ever met. This was just chatting. And because of Lance, every time that I get down, I know I got to move back up. And Lance, I want to thank you for that encouragement, because the Blue Note Fan Report's umbrella is increasing because of that.
Well, I appreciate it. And, any knowledge I can give, whether it comes to type of equipment you should use for your studio, topics, so on and so forth, I'm there for you. I mean, we all learn from each other. If you can't stop learning, and the more you do it, like I told you when you first started, the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with interviews. You won't be as nervous. You won't be looking at it going, man, I can't believe I'm interviewing Grant Fuhr. It's just like you're talking to your best friend. Just think of it that way. And guys really grown with it. And here's the thing: if you have a passion for something, it shows, and it shows that Guy loves what he's doing. If he didn't love what he was doing, he wouldn't have made it this far where he is today. So I thank you for those kind words, and I'm glad I can help. And Jeremy, if you need my help with anything, future equipment purchases or any ideas, I'm here. I'm sure Guy is there for any help that you may need. So just trying to pass it on. And thanks again, Guy, for the kind words.
Oh, no problem, Lance. This has been so much fun. Jeremy, I look so much forward. I'm going to start working on your article. I hope to get it out tomorrow. Understand it's pretty big, right? So there's a lot for me to go, and there's some editing that needs to be done, and that's fair, right? That's a go. Lance, when we did and you talked about the Bennington article, that went back and forth between you and me for about 4 hours.
Yeah, it was a little back and forth because you saw something that I didn't see. And then after I looked at it again, I saw something that I didn't see. And it's good to have an extra set of eyes on it, 1 or 2 extra set of eyes, because even if it's not a mistake, you may be able to word something, more appropriately. Make it sound more exciting. So
we worked. That's why we took a dual byline on that, because we both worked together. We both felt comfortable with a dual byline.
Yeah, I don't care.
I've told Jeremy, if I get to a point where I think I've done that, I'll do a dual byline, if you're okay with it. But that's the thing about the Fan Report. I have it. I'm going to have the banner flash just before we go, because I want people to see this. It says right here, wrong button again. Come on, dum-dum, give me gum-gum. It says right here, St. Louis Fan Report, a unique place for St. Louis sports. And I absolutely mean that. I think we have something that nobody else has. We have you, the fans, being part of our show. That is what I want to continue with the Fan Report.
Yeah,
yes.
Great.
Absolutely.
So, guys, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, with Lance, the Scott, from The Drop, and Jeremy of Sly Fox Sports, and almost newest member of the Blue Note Fan, or the Fan Report Media Group, saying aloha, mahalo, and I can't wait to see you on Friday, when I'm going to have an ex-player during the intermission shows. Ooh, yeah! Aloha!
Aloha.
See you guys later.